Hey, good morning. Happy Sunday. It's Christine Crutcher from Create with Christine, and I am here live with a project for you this morning. And I have been waiting about a month to share the technique I'm going to share today in my Tea and Techniques episode. So welcome. I hope you have a great week. Here is the card we are going to make today, and I'm going to show you a super quick and simple, sweet and simple. If you watch my videos and follow me on Facebook or YouTube or Pinterest, all my projects are kind of sweet and simple. So we're going to do an alcohol technique with Stampin Blends and Vellum. So anybody could do this. And I actually learned this from my good friends Joanne and Gina, who are Stampin Up demonstrators. They actually live in the same city as me. And they teach classes at retreats. So I learned this about a month ago. We had a retreat in June, local here, a one-day event, and they taught us this, and I'm pretty hooked. And I'm going to actually show you at the end the 4 cards we made with them. But what's funny is I grabbed the sweet ice cream stamp set, and this card really has nothing to do with ice cream. Although I did use the little thank you sentiment, but you could totally use the birthday and make this a birthday card. So I wanted to actually use a little bit of the designer paper. And I'm sorry, it's really cloudy here. It's been cloudy and rainy for weeks. We actually had about 4 hours yesterday of no rain, and we had got invited to a pool party in southern New Hampshire. So we went and sat by the pool, and live music played. My husband played as a guitar player, so he played with the band outside at this pool party. It was like so wonderful. But again, you could use the happy birthday sentiment instead of the thank you and make this a birthday card. So I'm gonna point the camera down. Hey, good morning, Janine. Thanks for tuning in. You guys probably have also been getting a ton of rain out there. You know, one good thing about lots of rain is it's great crafting weather. And I will say, in the past week, I may have gotten 3 boxes of stuff. Box number 1 was like my own personal pre-order for kind of like fall, Halloween, Christmas to kind of get me started on my classes and camps and events I'm going to do for starting in August actually. And then box number 2 was like my in-color club. And then box number 3 was for my stamp camp we had Thursday night. And if you, 40 days and 40 nights, yeah, it's, we're building the ark, right? Get the animals together 2 by 2. But yeah, if you took my Christmas in July stamp camp, I emailed you guys yesterday, but that went to the post office yesterday morning if you took it to go and you're not, you're far away from me. So, okay, time to point the camera down so we can get stamping. We actually have another event today with friends. So now that everything's opening back up, all of our friends are like, let's gather. And I keep being like, what day is it? Because we took a mini vacation. Well, I'll point the camera down while I talk. We took a mini vacation on Wednesday and Thursday, and we went to New York in Connecticut. We were right on the New York-Connecticut border. So we went to see a concert because a band that we follow from New Orleans, Louisiana, was up here in the Northeast. And we have plans to go to New Orleans in a few months, but we are actually thinking about changing our plans. So we were like, let's get our fill of New Orleans here in New York while we can get it. So we took a little road trip, and it wasn't bad getting there, but coming home it was a nightmare. So we were stuck in traffic. So here's the stamp set. Again, I'm using Sweet Ice Cream. So this is on page 32 of the 2021-2022 annual catalog. And it does have a punch that coordinates with it if you want to make the cute ice cream cones. But I'm not even going to use the punch today. I'm just using the stamp set sentiment. And again, I think you could use the happy birthday. I cut my banner a little small just to fit the thank you perfectly. So let's jump right in. And actually, let's just stamp the thank you to get that out of the way. And I'm actually going to bring over my Pierce mat because it's a photopolymer stamp set. And I always use my Stampin' Pierce mat. I think they're $5. So it's totally cheap and affordable. I'm just going to grab my thank you. I'm doing polished pink. I picked 3 colors, and with this technique, I think it's really good to pick 3 colors max, because we're going to be scribbling with Stampin Blends, and 3 colors just seems like the max that you want to do. And I'm going to actually put a banner in this with my Banners Pick-a-Punch. I have been using this thing like crazy lately. So let me show you my tip. I stamped first, and I want to put this into my punch so I can see where the letters are, where the words are, so I don't actually accidentally punch it. So I'm going to do upside down and flip over so I can kind of see where I'm going here. So I want to make sure I don't see any polished pink before I kind of punch. Okay, so then that puts in a cute banner. So this was just basic white. And let's see, it's 1 inch. You know what, I don't even think I took a measurement on it. It was a 1 inch, maybe by 3. A lot of times I also do 3/4 of an inch. Which is also a kind of go-to, and that's what I did in the designer paper. The designer paper ended up being 3/4 by 3.5. So let's do the blends, and let me show you the technique with, you are gonna die if you've never tried this. This is super addicting, super easy. So I have a piece of Vellum Cardstock. It's 3.5 by 4 3/4. And I have my 3 colors I was talking about, so I'm actually just going to put them this way. I'm going to try to start light to dark, so I've got Pale Papaya, Fresh Freesia, let me flip this over so you can maybe see, Fresh Freesia, and Polished Pink. So these actually end up being all in colors, the current in colors for 2021 to 2023, but I got the colors right from my designer paper. So this is Pansy Petals, and I don't think I showed it. So let me just give you a quick glimpse. These are all the 12 papers and Pansy Petals. So it's super cute. It's got some kind of like plaid checked colors, the florals with the pansies, and like this pansy here, the dies coordinate so you can cut it out. It's got like the polka dots, which I love, but some stripes and leaves. And I think these also have a die. I don't own this die set, the Pansy dies. So I think the leaves also, the dies also match up with this one right here. So I just picked this one because it's super colorful. And that's how I picked the 3 colors to focus on. So, oh, I just shook the camera. I'm so sorry. Oof. I need a bigger desk for doing these lives. I have a pretty decent sized desk, but I'm trying to fit everything, and I have a lot of stuff on my table today. So this is how I got the colors, and this ended up being 3/4 by 3.5. Okay, so let's do the vellum. All this I'm gonna do is cover this entire piece of vellum by scribbling with my Stampin Blends. Okay, so just kind of pick, I'm going to put like some Pale Papaya up here, and I'm sorry, this is going to take a while to fill this whole thing, so I'll try to go kind of quick. So just pick, I usually like to scribble about like 4 or 5 kind of sections or areas, and it goes super quick because all you do is kind of scribble, okay? So that looks good. Actually, I'm just going to connect these 2. So that looks good to start. Honestly, it's not going to matter too much. I keep wanting to do the pink before the purple, but I kind of decided when I was doing this earlier that it was better to do the purple before the pink. The pink is actually a little bit darker. Oh, and I did not mention, I am using the dark. So our Stampin' Blends come in a duo pack, so you get 2, and I'm using the dark. Whoops. And what's funny is when I did this in class last month, they were like, wow, yours came out really light, because it was just this technique. Every time you do it, it could potentially look different. So it's super fun. So just scribble to your heart's content. No right or wrong way to do this. Okay, and then in these little areas, I'm gonna put polished pink. So this is why I'm saying 3 colors, probably max, and I'm going to show you 4 samples we did in that class that my friends Joanne and Gina ran for us. Okay, so I have pretty much my whole entire piece covered, and I'm also on the front side of the vellum. So some people are like, do you do this on the front or the back? I don't care, I'm calling this the front and I'm scribbling on the front. At this point, I am actually going to make a giant mess on this piece of vellum. I have a pack of the Stampin' Up water painters. I personally, we got this in class and I already owned these. So in class, I just took a Sharpie and wrote on this new pack alcohol. And I am just going to use these for this technique and use these with alcohol. You can use... There's 3 in a pack, so you could designate 1 to use your alcohol on if you don't already own these and want to purchase them. And you could also clean them after you use them and then be able to use them for other watercoloring. I just figured it would just be a lot easier, since I now have 2 packs, to just designate this one as my alcohol pack. Okay, so I am just going to bring over, I have some paper towels, and we did this in a class, and I think we had 12 or 14 of us. We had like 6 or 7 at each table, and they gave us these little medicine cups. You could use any type of little, little cup like for mouthwash, or I don't know if you have like a shot glass that you don't care about putting alcohol in. Let me grab my alcohol and show you. Now, somebody online said that they found 99% alcohol. I just went to my local pharmacy, CVS, and you want to use 91% or higher, just regular alcohol first aid section of the grocery store or pharmacy, Walmart's, Target's will have this. But somebody online said that they found 99%. So I bought 91 because that's what was recommended in class. You want the higher number because it's going to dry faster. So you're going to have to let this dry for about 10 or 15 minutes after you kind of make your mess. So here comes the fun part. I am just going to take my water painter, take the cap off, dip it in my alcohol, and like you can splatter, you can, I'm trying to make sure I'm in the camera here. You can just kind of drip it on into circles, dots, and I didn't even on my original sample get my Wink Stella, but you can also drop Wink Stella on top. So honestly, after you get going, after you've kind of, and I'm not even squeezing, right? I'm just putting it in and then putting all these crazy dots on here. Okay, and then when you think it looks awesome, and it's gonna start bleeding, okay? And the other cool thing is you could take some of the ink, so to speak, and actually move it with the brush, but I kind of like it just with kind of the dots doing the natural kind of look. And if you get a bunch of alcohol on there, you can actually make, oh, there it goes. See how it's dripping and moving? So you can do some like really kind of artsy and artistic looks. Okay, so I think this is great. So I am gonna put this aside to dry. So again, about 10 or 15 minutes. Let me just try to give you a close-up. 10 or 15 minutes, and I have this weird little like looking like it looks like a bug on there, so I'm just going to try to get that out of there. Okay, there we go. And just rub it on my paper towel. So the funny part was that they gave us these little tiny medicine cups, and I think half the people in the class like knocked them over at some point while we were like in class for I think maybe like an hour, hour and a half. We made 4 cards I think in about an hour or hour and a half. So the funny part was I only have, I don't even know, this is like 10 milliliters. I probably have 5 in here because I did 3 cards this morning, but I could totally put this back in the container. But yeah, these little cups kept getting knocked over. So for the Stampin' Up! Demonstrators that are watching, and you're going to try this in a class with your customers, I don't know what to say. Be careful and try to like make sure they don't get knocked over. I mean, what would happen if they got knocked over and then we just clean it up? I mean, it's alcohol, so we'd clean it up and on to the next thing. Okay, so let's do the rest of the layers. I actually did one earlier, and this one I kind of like rubbed with the water painter and did some just kind of droplets, and then this one kind of really moved, so you can kind of see the differences. Here, I'll pull in the original sample, and then I'll show you my other samples from class, so you can see how they're all a little bit different, which is super fun. We actually should have taken a picture when we were in the class with like all the different samples, so you could see how everybody's was different. So I'm just gonna put on my designer paper now. Hey, good morning, Mary. Thanks for tuning in. I thought that you would like this. I wasn't sure if you've tried this technique before, but yeah, Joanne and Gina are awesome, and you'll get to teach with them in, I think, October when you come up. But they do some crazy fun fold classes, and fun folds are not my thing. So again, this was just 3/4 by 3.5. And then I have my little sentiment that we stamped, and I can't find my Stampin' Seal Plus. There it is. So I'm just going to throw this on with a little bit of Stampin' Seal Plus, and I know I'm getting low on this, so I'm hoping I have a little bit in here to finish. So I'm putting the pieces on the vellum, and then I'm going to put the vellum onto a basic white. So why I'm doing this is because I want to put some adhesive here where I can kind of see. Whoops, I kind of got to get this moving again. Because I'm getting near the end, I think it's kind of being a little finicky. Okay, there we go. Whoop. Well, I got one. I hope, oh, I just ran out. Okay, so I just ran out. So see the red line? I was wondering, I was using it earlier this morning, and I was like, I think I might run out during my live. So it's totally fine. I can actually, what I'm going to do later after we get off the live is I'm going to put a couple dots like right in the corners. So for now, I'm just going to put this here. It will probably hold okay, but I'd like some reinforcements in the corner. So a tiny little bit in the corner will hold this down. This looks like so different from the first one. Okay. And you could totally embellish this more. I just put a little in colored jewel in polished pink. So let me grab them. They're going everywhere here. And let me grab my take your pick tool and just pick one up here. Oh boy. Sometimes these things do not want to cooperate. So you could totally add some ribbon, and I'm going to show you how we did the cards in class. I'm going to have to resort to liquid glue for the back here, but that's okay. The basic white is 3 3/4 by 5. And again, the vellum was 3.5 by 4 3/4. So it gives a nice little border with the polished pink card base of 4 1/4 by 11, and then scored in half at 5.5. So there's my finished card, and I'll just kind of hold down the corners while I bring over. Here was the first one I did. So see how they do look a little bit different. And I do want to show you the 4 cards we made with Joanne and Gina. So, like I said, super sweet and simple, and anybody could do this. If you were a kid, you could do it. If you had kids, they might be more prone to knocking over the alcohol, but if you had somebody like 9 years old to like 90 years old could do this in a class. So here's one of the cards, and this is kind of the similar color scheme. So let's talk really quick about color schemes. I think this is actually the exact same color scheme. So just go to the catalog. The annual catalog is great, and go to like page 130. I think they start. The designer series papers is what I'm talking about right now. Go to the pages that start the designer series papers and pick 3 colors. If you're really struggling, like what 3 colors go together, go here and look at the colors in the designer papers and pick 3. If you have a demonstrator, we do have, and I did show it, I believe, last week in my live, something called a color coach. And those have kind of what colors go together. And they give you examples, so you can talk to your demonstrator about getting that electronic file. So here was card number 1 we did with Joanna Gina. So this uses the color and contour dies. So we did the blends and colored in, added in a little bit of, I think this was soft succulent with the papaya. And then the dies from the scallop contours. I believe this one is currently on back order for a while, possibly until mid-August. And then we just, this is the gold and the silver elegant trim that's in kind of the elegant suite. And this one I just did a double bow and put that on with the glue dot. So this one was actually the same exact measurements. This one was one we did with greens, and I don't really remember exactly the colors. Evergreen and maybe pear pizzazz. But this, we used the ribbon and the trim. Just my tip for this is I actually wrap it around my fingers and then you put it onto the banner. And you can either put dimensionals on the banner and put this little piece, the little trim piece, right over the dimensionals and then stick it to your card. And then these little greeneries, I don't know what dye these come from, honestly, off the top of my head. So this one is another one that kind of had the pink and the papaya, but this one we only did the scribbling across the middle of the card. So I actually like both, but I think I prefer scribbling the whole entire piece of vellum. So this one we have a vellum and then we have a white underneath. But we're scribbling and we're putting the alcohol, and the vellum, it's on top. The alcohol and the blends is on top. Some people thought we had to flip it over. It's not flipped over. But this one again was color and contour. I think the leaves were from a different set, and we just did like a double bow and a little banner. And I'm totally blanking on some of these stamp sets, but anyways, this was the last one, another one with the greens where we just kind of did across the middle. And I kind of tilted mine up and down to get the colors to run. So this one, I think it was shaded spruce, some evergreen, and a little bit of pear pizzazz. And I just got this stamp set, so I'm going to be using this one. I just ordered it, so it should be here in the next couple weeks. So I'll be using this stamp set coming up. I think it's called Biggest Wish. And then here we just did the twine and just tied it kind of like in some knots. This is kind of a little bit more masculine. This one, I guess, too, the greens are a little bit more masculine and the pink's a little bit more feminine. But aren't these cards so much fun? So I was in class saying this is going to be a Facebook Live probably in the next couple weeks when I can work it into my schedule. So you love the green. Gorgeous. Thank you so much. Yeah, I love, what's funny is I love both of them for different reasons. So, and I think with the greens, we were also like looking, you could do kind of like green and red if you wanted to do Christmas cards. So I'll probably do a Christmas card at some point with kind of like green and red, at some point either for a class or for an event coming up. So that is it. You can't wait to try this. Yeah, that was me in class saying, I can't wait to teach this to other people. And I have, if you're a demonstrator and you're on demonstrator planning place, there are samples on there too. I just went on there yesterday and there have been some current samples, but I don't know if everybody is also doing YouTube tutorials with them. They might just be showing their cards. But I just couldn't get over how simple it was, that it was just, you need the vellum, the water painters, and actually I had to go to CVS to get the alcohol, so I had the 91%. So this one that we did, it's actually already dry. So this one I just did live with you here. It's so maybe 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. It looks pretty cool. So I'll be putting this on another card. Maybe I'll do a birthday card for somebody with the July birthday or August birthday. So let me bring the camera back up. I'm just going to kind of go over quickly because people have been asking me, and I did mention it last week too, but I talked about the designer paper, Pansy Petals, that I used today, but I don't think I mentioned that the designer papers are on sale through August 2nd. So there's 9 of them from the annual catalog that are 15% off. So they're normally $11.50 and they are on sale for $9.78 plus tax and shipping. I have a July host code open through July 31st. So if you do have something on your wish list, I'll put the link below, but it's RJNWHV6Z. And if you place an order over $30 by July 31st, I'm going to send you 4 make and take projects for Christmas in July from my stamp camp that I just did this past week. August 3rd starts Celebration, and I was so excited. Friday I got to give one of my customers I saw in person the Celebration catalog and the mini catalog. So if you're local and you want to come by to pick up Celebration or mini catalogs that start August 3rd, just shoot me a text or an email or Facebook message and I can put them out front for you to pick up. Preferably when it's not a rainy day. And there's going to be a special to join my team starting August 3rd. So if your wish list, if you see that catalog and your wish list gets to be like $100, please reach out to me because we can talk about getting you a discount to join. There is going to be a special where you're going to get a free bundle, but it's going to be a list of bundles. So you have to pick one from the list. Again, that starts August 3rd, 2021, and it's $125 of merchandise for $99 plus tax. You actually get free shipping on your starter kit order. And we actually have a team meeting on Zoom, I think next Sunday, a week from today. So if you want to come to that to just kind of check out team and what happens at a team meeting, we'd love to have you as a guest. So, and then BOGO, I am doing an online BOGO. I did mention it last week too, but the dates to put in your calendar are going to be August 12th to August 15th. August 14th and August 15th, there's a sales tax holiday in Massachusetts. So I'll need to key in any local Massachusetts customer orders by the 15th. So that's why I'm going to run it those days. It's going to be online on Facebook in a private group. And the group is not going to open until August 12th, probably at like 12:30 around lunchtime. So more details. And I should also mention, because I've been mentioning for a couple weeks, I was relieved from 1 week of jury duty starting this Monday. So I am still on call for 2 weeks, the week after, and then the first week of August. So fingers crossed, say a little prayer for me that I don't have to go to Boston for jury duty. Wouldn't that be? That'd be awesome if I was on call for 3 weeks and never had to report. So that's it. Rain, rain, go away, but I suppose it's good crafting weather. So that's the one positive. And I have all the new stuff, but I'm not quite ready to start playing with all the new stuff quite yet. So I have 2 swaps, so I got to get working on my swaps today. So have a great week, everybody, and I will see you back here next week with another creative project.